PopCrush.com music news.
Hey, it's Matt Ryan from the Pop Crush Top 20. Get up to speed on what's happening with your favorite celebrities every day at 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. with Pop Crush Music News right here on 106.1 Kiss FM. And for entertainment news around the clock, visit popcrush.com.
Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, let's welcome to the show the amazing Mr. 619, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
I'm going to punch somebody in the face today. Well, punch him in the face.
You know, if I knew you had a gimmick there, I could have, introduced you as like like the world's most dangerous man or something.
I had a gimmick and I was ready, but then I heard something in my headphones that was throwing me off.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I heard something from 106.1 Kiss FM in my headphones.
Ah, that would explain it. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
I bet the audience heard that too, and I didn't.
Yeah, you were just blowing through, so I was like, okay, so it's not on his side, but it was in mine. And so I was scrambling.
I wonder why.
So I was sitting here hiding boxing gloves. I'm wearing my gloves, and the minute I hear it, I think it's me. And so I'm trying to get my gloves off so I can mess with the keyboard. So I'm just banging on the keyboard with my gloves trying to stop. And then it said Kiss 106.1 Kiss FM. And I was like, oh, it's not me after all.
I bet you that went out on the podcast, but I did not hear it in my headphones. And well, happy birthday, Jake the Snake. How you doing today, pal?
Bitch. Listen, I am happy that I feel like I can finally say that we are on the real road to WrestleMania.
Hold on. Before we get to all that, you've got people on the edge of their seats. How was the International Space Station?
To keep me from getting in a lot of trouble and getting a lot of heat, I'll say it went okay. It was such a radio thing that happened yesterday. So you go, it's run by like a bunch of ham radio geeks and like these old geeks, old guys, and they've got it all set up. They're going to communicate with the International Space Station, and they've got all these middle schoolers fired up. It's a big thing for the community. Only 13 schools have been picked in the country to do this. So cool. The International Space Station is orbiting above us. You can't hit the brakes on Earth. So there's a window where they're like directly above us, and you have 9 minutes. And so it starts, and these guys couldn't have been ruder to me, and like they didn't. I was standing in a janitor's closet, like in the back.
The astronauts?
Like they didn't. Not the astronauts, the ham radio nerds. And they were like, I even said to the ones, you want to go on the air? It's like, I don't have time for that. We're going to talk to space. And I was like,
you can't put the brakes on Earth, Valeri.
Come on. So
you here with your FM antenna. I'm on my ham radio, punk.
Reach
Uranus with your FM antenna.
That's the one spectrum, the one side of it for radio is you'll go to a broadcast. They not only won't know who you are, they'll be mad that you're there. They're inconvenienced by your very existence, and they're annoyed at your presence. And so, like, that's what I was getting from those guys. So I'm not going to say it gave me joy when the International Space Station couldn't hear them. They had a 9-minute They had a 9-minute window, and 5 minutes of it was
just the line. I don't want to say it brought me joy, as you have the most joyful look on your face.
No.
Like, I don't want to say I'm laughing at this story, but
5 minutes of the 9-minute window was spent with astronaut Scott Tingle saying, Belafonte, we can't hear you. Belafonte, we can't hear you. And the town's called Belfont.
Well, I mean, I know the listeners in State College will get that, but the city is Belfont, and it's spelled B, if I remember correctly, Bellefonte.
Yes.
So, but the astronaut, poor guy, doesn't know it. He's just up there. I mean, he's like us radio guys. We just got to talk to people we don't care about too. And he's like, Belafonte.
You want to see a group of older, heavy-set nerds scramble. You fill an auditorium with the entire middle school. Give them 9 minutes to talk to an astronaut and spend 5 minutes of it with the astronaut being able to hear them.
So did the other 4 minutes, was he able to hear them?
It went off well, and I'm glad, because it's a good experience for the kids. I know our Tony, good friend of mine, Tony, his daughter was one of the ones that got to ask a question. They wanted to ask more questions, but they had less time than they had planned on. It's a cool experience for the kids. I think that's great. But so like I have this whole thing where those guys just were like, oh, they just didn't even like me at all. Blah 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 blah. Then this goes down. When the assembly clears out, those ham radio guys were like at each other's throats, and so me and the engineer, we grabbed our stuff and I was like, let's just go out the back. And he was like, that's a great idea. So we went out the back and we're walking around to the front of the building. And the next thing I know, the ladies at the front office are running into the parking lot. And I think we screwed up because we didn't sign out or something like that. No.
You guys didn't pass through the metal detectors on your way out.
On your way out, no. They wanted me to come in because the principal, I guess she's a huge fan. And when she found out I was in the building, she put lipstick on. So, but she was in the back talking to like the news stations that were actually treated well there. And so she's back there with them. So they wanted to surprise her. So they had me go in the principal's office and stand on top of her desk holding her things so they could, and I guess they blew up a big poster of it for her today to surprise her. So like I went from being a total jerk in the back to getting to stand on the principal's desk in the front. And that is the best way to sum up radio in 9 minutes. That's what radio is.
You just gave people think it's this whole thing. And I tell people, it's like, you're not there for the air checks. You're not there for the space stations. You're not there to be the celebrity ice cream scooper for a high school. It's so much more than people think it is.
Yes, there are moments where you walk in and you're treated like Ozzy Osbourne, and it's the coolest thing ever. But for every one of those times, there's a handful of the others where you walk in and they don't know who you are, why you're there, and they don't want you. And you're like, I don't feel good. Oh, I feel bad.
And you're over here like, I don't want to be here either, bro. But this is what our bosses coordinated. So
or the 4 a.m. calls from the engineer because your boss who went on vacation forgot to schedule music.
Let's talk about Raw. That was awesome, by the way. I almost didn't ask how. I just assumed everything was going to be hunky-dory, and then you bust that one out. You got away with a story, Valeri.
By the way, last night I got a call 4 a.m. from the engineer because my boss forgot to schedule music and was on vacation.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other time that happened.
No, it happened last night. I'm going to get fired.
By the way, we have a fail-safe. If we forget to schedule music, it's gonna schedule it by itself now. It's not going to be perfect. Like you might get 2 Ed Sheerans back to back, but you'll get music.
I'm totally getting fired. I've said too much.
All right, let's talk about Raw. I feel like I love you. I feel like for the first time in a long time, we finally have stuff to talk about on Raw this morning.
Oh my gosh, we are on the road to WrestleMania. I believe it firmly now. It feels good. It's not a bad road at all. Last night was just fine. Last night was like, boy, you didn't give me a fraction of that over the past month. You gave me building up to one match that I didn't even really care about all month long. Now we've got some real dynamic angles about us. Yeah. And I think the reason they didn't have much of anything was why Roman Reigns' promo was so successful. Because at least for me, he was saying what I think a lot of fans have been thinking for a while.
Fans? I mean, I think he was speaking on behalf of a lot of the boys, too.
Yes, I do too. Now, my question for you before we dig too much into that, because I think that was the biggest moment of the night. I call it Roman Reigns' pipe bomb, and I thought it was awesome. But I don't think that wasn't a shoot, right? That was a worked shoot. That was worked.
I thought that was 100% work.
It might not have been.
No, it might not have been, but I didn't get a shooty vibe from that at all, personally.
Do you know why I got a shooty vibe?
Why?
Because the announcers didn't sell it at all when it was over. They just went into their thing.
I know that it was really well received, and it was really, really good. One of the things that distracted me was they had promoted Brock being there at least on Sunday. I don't think they had for much more than that.
They did on Monday too. They opened the show with the face-to-face. Tonight's the face-to-face. And then even at the end of the 8 o'clock hour, they said a face-to-face.
Were they bait and switching us? I know they don't typically like to do that. Did they know Brock wasn't going to be there, or did Brock legit no show, or was it? I was looking around all morning. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on that either. I know that Roman was correct about him being in Vegas, posing pictures with Dana White. I had seen those. Like,
I'm kind of at this point, like, go get him, champ. Like, if you want to go beat people up in UFC, this past year, I'm not really going to miss you much.
I think it was the best promo that Roman Reigns has ever delivered.
Oh, stop. Really?
I do. I think it was the best promo Roman Reigns has ever done. I'm not saying it's the best promo ever delivered. I said the best promo Roman Reigns has ever delivered. That was a turning point for him with the fans. He got the fans on his side.
Maybe, you make a good point. Okay, yes, it was productive. It did get the fans on his side. It did make him kind of a baby face and Brock more of a heel. I see your point there. Okay, keep going.
I feel like he was always going to be a baby face with the wives and the kids. But this was an opportunity now for him to get over with us. And I think he did for the most part. And that crowd sure made it sound like it. Now, I also think that crowd was stupid. I shame on Anaheim for all the what chants. God, they're so frustrating.
Yeah, why is it still a thing?
Anaheim should be ashamed of themselves. I hate their gut.
Yeah, but you say this after every show. Like you say, it was Las Vegas should be ashamed of themselves. Evansville should be ashamed of themselves. Sacramento should be ashamed. It's every crowd you're saying that about. And
they should be ashamed of themselves.
I mean, so it's not like, random anymore. It's pretty steady that these are back, or never. I don't know if they're back or never went away.
They should all be ashamed of themselves, and Steve Austin should apologize.
I would wait for that one. I imagine you'll probably get that apology at some point.
You think that's coming?
Listen, I loved Reigns' promo. I don't know that it was to the extent that you did. I'm trying to think of where. No, I liked it a lot. Like, it made me feel something, and I made sure I stopped what I was doing to watch it. Was it his best? Was it his best ever? Possibly, but that's not saying much.
I watched it in its entirety 3 times, and I made a note on my phone. That's how good I think it was.
Interesting. You know what? Okay. I'm not prepared to say it wasn't his best promo ever. I could go either way, I guess.
I just hope that, like, with the best promo comes, some new moves.
You know what I think? Maybe I had one little problem. I feel like he really leans on the word bitch to get his, like, it's like that when I'm trying to use an exclamation point, and I use it sparingly, but when I want you to know I'm dropping a pipe bomb and you should take me seriously, you're going to hear the word bitch.
Yeah, he did that with Cena a lot too.
Yeah.
But last night it didn't feel forced to me. It felt like Roman Reigns was finally talking like Roman Reigns talks. He wasn't reading somebody else's script, somebody else's word. He wasn't trying to be cute, smarmy, and clever like Kevin Owens. He wasn't trying to. He just came out, and I loved it. I loved the part where he said, "I was born into this business," and there's a fine line between that and respect. He brought up how he and the boys in the back travel all over the place, and they're breaking their back, and he just shows up when he wants a paycheck. And why am I covering for this guy? And I don't respect you, and I'm not afraid of you. I'm in. They made me interested to see those two fight, and I couldn't have been less interested going into Raw last night. So
okay, Jerry, you're right. Everything you just said was right. And yeah, I'm coming off like someone who didn't like it when I actually thought it was very good.
You did like it.
Yeah, I did like it very much. And you're right. It did what a promo was supposed to do. It made me want to see two people fight. I guess I get hung up in his delivery. I feel it's very dry, but it's always dry. I feel it's his face doesn't emote. It's unemotional. He doesn't always feel what he says. But last night that was kind of he believed what he was saying. I believe that, but he doesn't, for lack of a better term, I believe that.
Yeah.
It's just that he, like, I don't know, when Cena speaks, it's fun to listen to him. And when Rock speaks, it's fun to listen to him. And then when Roman speaks, I just get this deadpan from him. And that doesn't change. So you're not saying it's the best promo ever. You're just saying I'll say, sure, it was one of his best promos ever.
Before this promo, I think his best promo ever was the one where he didn't say anything after he beat The Undertaker for 5 minutes, got the crowd riotous, and then said, "It's my yard now," and walked out. That was his best promo until last night, I think. Because his stuff with Cena was great, and it was real, but he floundered and flubbed the whole way through those. Last night, he got lost once in the very beginning, but I think he wasn't lost. He was just deciding, am I going to do this? Or he was supposed to look like, am I going to do this? And then he said, I'm going in the back and I'm getting chewed out. And the crowd went crazy. The people that booed him in Philadelphia when he won the Royal Rumble that year are the same people that last night were like, yeah, we're sick of Brock too.
I still think he'll probably get heavily booed at Mania, but you make a good point. You're not wrong. Okay.
At this point, I'm ready to boo Lesnar.
Well, listen, at this point, their eyes are on Mania, and that's what makes me happy. So that's got direction now, and that's got fuel to it. And yeah, I mean, I will definitely say that promo made me more excited to see them fight. So job well done to Roman Reigns, who didn't even need Heyman or Lesnar there in the first place. So
I thought it was an A+ promo, and I thought that Cena also delivered an A promo.
Yes and no. Like, yeah, okay. So his mission was to not really say that much. I guess really all he was saying was, there's nothing for me here on Raw. Undertaker, what was he saying? Undertaker wouldn't do it? Like, what was he saying about Taker?
Yeah, he teased the Taker thing and then said that match is not going to happen. And so he addressed the fact that I think everyone in the world thinks that was going to be the match, got the huge pop, teased it, and then said, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to SmackDown. I'm going to find my match on SmackDown. And so now he's going to SmackDown. The Taker match might still happen. That could be a real big bait and switch that they're doing there. And he could show up on SmackDown. But it also could be, I don't know, we could be in for something terrible. We could be in for him versus Shane McMahon.
I still think it's going to be Cena and Taker, to be honest with you.
I hope so. I wonder if they're looking and they're saying SmackDown needs Cena and Taker right now more than Raw does.
It does.
So maybe that's what they're doing.
Well, let them have it. That's what I say. I mean,
yeah.
If we're trying to keep them equal, which they do a somewhat decent job of, why not? You know, it's like always a no-brainer. Like, okay, we got Ronda Rousey. She's a big deal. Everyone's talking about her. We got to put her on Raw. You know, so sometimes you got to sacrifice the flagship and let the other brand have it. So yeah, let Cena and Taker exist on SmackDown.
Absolutely. Do you want to get into Ronda Rousey yet, or you want to wait on that?
Sure. Yeah, I feel like we covered Roman. Let me just wrap it up, put a bow on Roman by saying I feel like I came off more negative than I actually intended to. I liked the promo a lot last night. It was very successful. I don't know why I came off as negatively as I did. It's probably because I'm just used to it with Roman.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I was just way more enthusiastic than you had expected.
Yeah, maybe it's a combination of those things.
Yeah.
So, okay, Ronda Rousey. It's still very apparent that I'll just say the entertainment part of the sports entertainment is not her strong suit. But I'm still into her. She's still passable. Would you agree?
She seemed more comfortable last night than the Elimination Chamber with the microphone. It wasn't wonderful, but it wasn't like cringe-worthy.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of the stuff came off awkward to me again, but, you know, she's so new at the the acting part of this, I feel like it's kind of to be expected.
Kurt Angle doesn't look good to me right now. I don't know.
I had a conversation with my buddy John again last night, and he feels like, and boy, it's hard to dispute this theory, but we don't know if it's like the CTE stuff with the concussions or the pills that he's taking, because he's admitted to taking a vast amount of just an amount that should kill a normal human being.
All the pills. He took all the pills.
Kurt is like, he's coming off as kind of slow. Like he's really been affected by head injuries and abuse to his body that like if you watch him in 2000, 2001, where he's sharp as a tack on the mic. And when you look at it now, it's like not even the same guy. And his speech is a whole lot slower. And I don't know if it's maybe he just doesn't care as much because he's not actually involved in as many of the angles now because he's not a wrestler per se, or at least first. But he just comes off as not the same guy he was 15 years ago. It's sad.
And I wonder if it's some of that. I'd heard on a Stone Cold podcast where he was talking about Chris Jericho and Chris Jericho's run last year, Chris Jericho's 2017 in WWE, which I think we both agree was very successful.
Yeah, it was fun.
And more fun and more successful than we'd expected it to be. And I think the reason for that is what Stone Cold Steve Austin was saying. Most guys come in, most of these guys with legend status, they'll come back and they'll rely on their old stuff. Like the Dudley Boys did it. Like they become cliches. They know what works. They know what's over. They're already over. They're not trying to get anything new over. And so they're not working on new material. They're not working on anything. And they're just kind of riding it out and taking the cheers that they've earned in the past. And Chris Jericho didn't do that. Chris Jericho was always trying to find a new way, a new thing, a new catchphrase, a new way to work it. And that's why he's one of the best ever. I think Kurt Angle is one of these guys that's just in there doing what he's always done. It's true. It's damn true.
Well, I can't agree with that only because what he's always done is wrestle.
Yeah, but I mean, mic-wise. I'm sick of him ending every decision with "It's true, it's damn true." Like,
well, I mean, he's leaning on that, but I mean, you could also say the Austin ended his with "That's the bottom line" because Stone Cold said so, and just kind of a tag. But like, he used to be really funny and sharp and talented. Like, watch like that SmackDown stuff from like 2001, where with the cowboy hat or Milkamania stuff or some of his best stuff. It's not the same guy. It's a real shame.
Yeah, and physically, he's just not capable to do what he did back at WrestleMania 21. That was one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time for me.
Love that match.
Love that. He and Shawn Michaels. And man, he's in. I think Shawn Michaels would put on a better match at this point than Kurt. I hope Kurt does a better job.
I mean, you're talking about two top 3 wrestlers of all time right there, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, but we're talking about older guys that are.
Sean's body's probably far more capable than Kurt's. You're probably right about that.
Yeah, but Kurt's going to get a match out of it. He took a bump last night. I thought he was slow. I don't know, that punch from Triple H, not only did it hit him in the chest, but like it just didn't work for me.
That punch didn't work, but I'm putting that one on Trips, to be honest with you.
Because he missed. Yeah,
it was like a miss, and it was awkwardly timed, and like I don't know, I didn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like that was the miscue. I don't blame Angle for that one personally.
And Ronda Rousey and Stephanie both kind of no-sold it.
Well, Ronda Rousey also, like, Kurt did this a few weeks ago, and we mentioned it on this show. Like, Kurt was in the ring when I think it was Triple H laid out Jason Jordan, his on-screen son, and Kurt stepped over Jason Jordan to kind of, WTF Triple H, and then realized, oh yeah, my son just got what I think he got pedigreed, and Kurt, maybe I should go check on him. I thought that Ronda did that last night. Like she stepped over Kurt Angle to WTF the Authority, and then was like, oh yeah, I should probably check on Kurt. And all checking on Kurt meant was just kneeling next to him.
Real wrestling psychology is not easy to master.
No. I mean, you can tell because not everyone can do it.
She can't do it, and Kurt Angle couldn't do it. And
remember when Kurt was Kurt, he was very good at it.
So are you and John saying that Kurt's not Kurt anymore? I can agree. I don't think that's as harsh as it sounds, because I was the one that said last year that Mick Foley was not Mick Foley anymore. Like, Mick is not Mick anymore. He's just not.
Well, but not only are we saying that, but we also kind of offered a possible reason as to why. Explanations
as to why. Yeah, the concussions and all of that. He's just so bad on the mic anymore. I was so excited last year when he came in. I feel badly that I kind of want him to go away.
I'm still not there yet. I love the guy so much. I'd rather have him in this spot than nowhere, personally. Like Brian, I'd rather not have Brian. I want Brian as a wrestler. Don't get me wrong there. But if it's GM versus nothing, I could probably live without him as a GM. With Angle, I think I'd rather have him as the GM.
Fair enough.
So, anything else from the Ronda Rousey segment we should mention, really?
No, I mean, we're setting up that tag match. So far, we have set up, we're looking at the road to WrestleMania. We've set up Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar very nicely. This mixed tag match is getting set up very nicely. Mm-hmm. You've got John Cena going to SmackDown, which I think is to chase Undertaker maybe, or somebody else. So that's getting set up nicely.
It was something. That's all I wanted. Just give me something.
We're moving slowly, but we're still moving.
I can do slowly. We like slowly.
Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. Clearly, we're going to get that again at WrestleMania. Hopefully, they find a way to make that interesting for us.
Yeah, and I feel like you're right about that.
And I don't know what they're doing with the women. I mean, we got another 6-woman tag match to start Raw. The first 40 minutes of Raw, I didn't really enjoy that much.
You know, I meant to include this into the recap of Elimination Chamber yesterday, but for some reason it eluded me, and then Mike kind of reminded me on the post show. I was really getting worried about Alexa's promo on Sunday, and then at like the most perfect moment, she brought it back to a heel promo. The timing was exquisite.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my gosh, they're turning her white meat babyface.
Or they're not, and she's just not smart enough to realize she's cutting a babyface promo. Like, she's getting showered in these "you deserve it" chants and cheers and stuff like that. And I just thought that maybe she was riding out that moment, unaware that she was cutting a babyface promo. But then, boop. And then you guys will never experience anything like just perfect. Loved it.
Because you're not as good as me.
And I know we reiterate this over and over again. I'm just so proud of her. When she got called up, I would have never in a million years, A, thought she'd be as good as she is today, and B, that she did it immediately. She wasted no time on the main roster to impress me.
And I think it helped that she was on SmackDown roster. They put her there, and she elevated herself above Charlotte and all of them. And Charlotte was on Raw still, but I think she's better than all of them. And when they called everybody up, it was Becky Lynch that, Sasha Banks this, Charlotte, Bayley, and now you got Alexa Bliss, top of the mountain, and she's going to be the one that fights Asuka.
Alexa Bliss looks like she should be one of the 2000, like a Diva Search contestant that got hired because she was hot.
Right.
And then I just love that beneath that beautiful surface, there's someone there who really knows how to work. I've just been so impressed with her.
Yeah, she's really great on the mic and in the ring. We couldn't agree more on Alexa Bliss. I just hope they don't muddy that women's match with multiple people. Like, I don't want it to be a triple threat or a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way or a fatal 6-way or a shoot me now ladder match. Like, I don't want it. I want a one-on-one Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Let's see it happen.
Let me ask you this, Jer. Would you rather have, I don't know, 14? Would you rather have 20 10-minute matches or 10 20-minute matches?
There have been WrestleManias where they've done the 20 10 minutes.
I mean, it's just the thing. There's only so much real estate when it comes to WrestleMania.
But there isn't anymore. I mean, it's a 7-hour show.
But if you want to have, AJ Styles and Nakamura mean something, you got to give them 20 to a half an hour. It's WrestleMania.
So give Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt 5 minutes. Like, give some guys 20 and some guys 5, and some matches 15 and some matches 3.
That's the thing. My point is, there's only so much real estate you can work with. I mean, there are so many, just in the women's division, there are so many potential matchups that people want to see, but we can't get all of them. And if you want to get all these ladies onto one show, you gotta battle royal them.
I don't mind that. I don't mind a multiplayer match. I don't mind it, but I want a title match to be a one-on-one. I feel like we haven't seen that much these days. I want a one-on-one title match. I want them all to be one-on-one. And I know we're not going to get that with the Intercontinental Championship.
Where did we leave off at? Did with the Intercontinental? If I could switch gears for a second, is that it right now? Is that scheduled to be Miz versus Finn and Seth?
Not scheduled to be, but I think it will end up being. Seth says that he beat Miz, so he should get the shot. And then Finn came out and Finn beat him. And so Finn says he should get it, but Seth said, you beat him after I beat him. So I softened him up, so you shouldn't get it. It should be me. It's going to be Seth Rollins and Finn Balor fighting out to see who takes on the Miz, and we both know they'll both take on the Miz.
Listen, if that scheduled, Rollins versus Balor?
I don't know if it's scheduled, but I will say it is.
There is no way they don't double pinfall, double DQ, double chicken, double mayo, mother effer. It's going to be all this stuff because this is like what I hate about wrestling. Every time this is in a situation where the winner goes on to fight the champion, and they always double mayo us.
Yeah.
This is my new flaming chain. I actually like the term. It's a double mayo.
It's a double mayo.
Mother effer.
Mother effer. He's a heel. Seth Rollins, again, with another top-notch performance last night. I mean, he's really wrestling like he's got something to prove.
Seth is great. He does kind of have something to prove. I kind of read something interesting on the Wrestling Observer that you know how Elias has kind of had this jump in prominence in the storylines and exposure.
Oh yeah.
They had to essentially just slide him into the Samoa Joe spot. So everything that you saw Elias doing over the past month or so would have been Joe's. It's kind of like, when you watch Grown Ups, Kevin James is just it should have been Chris Farley's role, but but now it's
Kevin James.
So now instead of Samoa Joe, it's what's his name? It's Elias.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shame because as much as I enjoy Elias and he's a heat seeker and he's good. He just looks like Macho Man Randy Savage. He's so big. I would rather see Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, and instead we're getting Braun Strowman and Elias. It looks like.
But I'm wondering if we even have room. Like, do we even have real estate for it? I don't know. I have no idea where Elias is going to fit in.
They're going to put Braun Strowman on WrestleMania.
I would like to think so. What did he do last year?
This year's been different for him. You know that.
It's been another monster year. I'll go that far. Just saying, pal. Just saying. And
I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't get on WrestleMania, somebody's going to get these hands. Somebody's going to get these hands.
Elias is #1 merchandise for the past week.
You're kidding me.
#1. Finally beating out, do you know who's #2? Who's been having the nice little run on top?
John Cena, as always.
That'd be Mr. Rusev.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day. So the #1 and #2 last week were Rusev and Elias.
That's the real top 10.
Isn't that great? How you feeling about SmackDown tonight? You looking forward to it? I still feel like they're in their holdover period too, but after Fastlane, I feel like they'll amp it up.
And
although
when is Fastlane?
I believe it's 2 weeks. So
okay,
I believe we do predictions next week.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited for tonight with SmackDown. I'm excited for John Cena.
Yeah, that's one reason to be excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. I wonder if they're going to save that for the end or they're going to do that in the beginning. Who knows? the rest of it, it's going to be what SmackDown has been. Yeah, I guess prediction in 2 weeks. I'm not here next week, so.
You told me you were going to miss a predictions episode, and you're not going to be here next week. So I can't imagine that they're going to have. Oh no, that still makes sense. That still makes sense.
Let's see when Fastlane is. I'm done messing around with my brain.
I think we'll have Travis in here that week. Everybody watching, and Travis knows his stuff.
Okay, so it's taking place on March 11th. March 11th. Yeah, I'm missing a prediction episode next week.
Yeah.
I'm not only am I missing a prediction episode, but the Monday I'm back, I can do it. I may not have seen the pay-per-view. I'm going to try, but it depends when I get back from Baltimore.
I have my next back procedure on the Tuesday after you're back.
Look at that.
Might be missing for the next few episodes.
You're going to be gone that day, or are you going to be gone after that?
No, I mean, I could do it from home, but you stiffed me last time.
I totally did. I totally said, I won't stiff you again.
We can figure it out.
I was like the International Space Station. You just couldn't hear me.
Listen, we got to wrap this up. I got to get out of the studio. I didn't realize how long we'd gone already. It's almost 10 o'clock already.
Thank you, Raw, for giving us something to talk about this week.
I'm so glad Raw was a good show for once. And, like, it's back. Like, that's just what I want. I feel like up until WrestleMania, I don't have much to be worried about right now. For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner in podcasting, the wonderful Jerry Valeri. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll recap SmackDown before Jerry takes off for vacation. Have a great day, everybody.
Belafonte, can you hear me? Belafonte, can you hear me?
Belafonte, we have a problem.